Okay, we are going to start with the power of 10. This is a new concept for you guys, I think. You have two terms that you need to know, base and exponent. They go together, the base. If I think of base, it's the foundation or it is what everything stands on. In math, it is the number that is used as a repeating factor. The exponent is the number that tells how many times you multiply the base number. So we're doing just the power of 10 to start with. And if we have 10 to the 0 power, that means I'm going to take 1 times nothing. So I have 1. Or so the answer is 1. If I take 10, this is my base, times my exponent 1, that's 10 times 1, and I get 10. If I do 10 times 2, that's taking 2 tenths, 10 times 10. If I do 10 times 3, 10 times 10 times 10, and 10 to the power of 4 is 10 times 10 times 10. Now, a common mistake that a lot of kids do is they go 10 times 10 is 20. It's not 10 times 2, it's 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. If I look at it here, it's 10 times 10 is 100 times 10 more, which is 1,000. 10 times 10 is 100 times 10 more is 1,000 times 10 more is 10,000. Now base 10 or the power of 10 seems to be pretty easy once you get a hold of it. That is really no different than if you have another digit. It doesn't have to be the power of 10. It could be a base number of 6, which means the same thing is you have 6 to the power of 2. That means you're taking 6 times 6. You've got 2 6, which is 36. Here I have 4, the base, to the exponent of 3, which means 4 times 4 times 4. Don't make that mistake of 4 times 3, but 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So we'll be doing some of the base 10. Once you catch on, it'll be great. Numeral expression, guys. This word expression you're going to use every day in your assignments. Whenever you have a story problem, I want you to write an expression for the story problem. Now, when I say write an expression, that means there should always be what digits are you going to use. A problem that has numbers and operational signs, but no equal signs. So I don't want you to figure the problem there. You'll do that in another way. So here's an expression. I had 4 apples and my sister gave me 3 more. What am I going to do? Well, I've got the 2 digits I need plus the operation. Here's another one. I had 3 apples. My sister gave me 7 more, and I wanted to put those equally into 4 bags. How many apples am I going to need? So if you notice here, I have 3 plus 7 because I got to first figure out how many I have. And then I've got 4 bags and I want this equal amount in each one, so I'm going to multiply. Some of you are wondering about multiplying. If there's a digit with nothing in between the parenthesis and the digit, that means to multiply. Sometimes there will be a that there. A dot is another multiplication sign, and so is the X. Okay, now we're moving on to multiplication. Multiplication is, here are the symbols for it, and sometimes I'm going to put 4 and a number in here. That means you multiply. Multiplication is just repeated addition. Terms we want to start using is factor times factor equals product. So I would like you to do a quick one. Product is the answer of the multiplication problem. I'm going to work on it, and so are you, using the words instead of answer, use the word product. We have different ways we're going to learn. Here, if I have this problem, we can use the expanded form to figure it out. or the break apart. We can do a partial product, and we'll learn the terminology of partial product. Partial means partial means part of it. You see this word part in there. So every one of these is part of the answer or the product. So how this works is I just do 2 times 2 is 4. Next, that's one partial product. The next time I'm going to do 2 times 30 because of the place value, and I get 60. That's another partial product. 2 times 400 is 800 is partial product. And you'll continue and you'll get the answer. Eventually, we'll do the algorithm way, and that is probably the shortened way. And we will just multiply. The one in the ones column will go on a line that's all about the ones. This one's all about the tens. So all the numbers I multiplied in the tens will go here. Notice, and that's a system we will learn. All right. We will also talk about the array, the lattice, a couple of those other ones that you use. But eventually, we would like to get to the shortest term, if nothing else, using these to check this one. Okay, the last thing we're going to put in our notes for this unit is order of operations. Order of operations is huge. It's awesome, but it is a rule you have to follow. Here's why. There are different ways to figure a problem. So we're all going to get different answers. Well, in the world, that's not going to work if we have, oh, I got the answer of 42. No, I got the answer of 72. I did it we're doing it my way. Okay, so how much money do you pay them? So we have to do the order of operations. You guys worked on the 2 and 3. We're adding number 1. Number 1, this is what you look for first. You always do what's in the parentheses first. Then if there's any brackets, you do that next. If there's any braces, you do that next. And then you do the exponents. We talked a little bit about the exponents. So parentheses, brackets, braces, and exponents is number 1. First thing you look at, that's the first thing you do. Once you get done with that, then you start looking for, are there any multiplying or dividing symbols in there? I'm going to do those next. Which one am I going to do first? Do I always multiply first? No. Sometimes I divide. How do I know? I always go from left to right, just like when you read. The third thing we do is add or subtract. Do I do adding first? Nope. The same rule applies. I add or subtract, just like I read, whichever comes first from left to right. If you look here, I gave you some examples of, here I did parentheses first, I got 12. Notice my format on how I do this because this is what you guys will be doing. So I did what's in parentheses first. I put that product down. Then I dropped down all the other rest of the problem. I looked and I had to do division next. So I crossed that out. I put the quotient to that and I put 6, drop down what I have left. Now I'm going to add at the end, and here I got my answer, my equation. Okay, look here, and here I decided I like to add first, so I did 7 times, so I did the 7, I crossed that out. Now I got to still do 7 times 4, because I like to multiply. I did 28, and then I had to divide last. 28 by 2 is 14. Notice how they're the same digits, but I didn't do them in the order of operations. You have to do them in the order of operations. Okay, end of notes. Moving on to the unit.